Meteorologist Mark Mulner. As always, I want to thank you for joining me for this edition of Weather Eastern and Hurricane Eastern. I have a lot to talk about here in the tropics. Tropical Storm Peter and Tropical Storm Rose out in the Atlantic. Are these going to pose any major threat to land, or are these going to be fish storms recurving out in the Atlantic? I'll break it all down for you. In addition, we'll go over Invest 98L. That's the system I'm a bit more interested in. It is south of the Cape Verde Islands. It's far enough south that it remains weak enough it could actually bend far enough westward and not recurve like all the other systems. And anything else going on in the tropics, I'll break it all down for you. Also, tropical moisture from the Atlantic and the southeast coast could entrain into this next system heading across the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes in the northeast, leading to widespread heavy rain Wednesday and Thursday. I'll go over all that for you and how much I think we could be looking at. And also, down below, there are timestamps if you want to skip ahead. Take a look. There's a Hurricane 2021 Outlook. If you haven't watched that, subscribe, hit the bell button so you're alerted when I come out with one of these videos. Question or comment in the comment section down below if you wish. Smash the like button. Let's get right into it. All right, taking a look at the tropics. We have Tropical Storm Peter out here. And this system looks like it is going to move. It's moving just north of the islands here. And it will recurve out into the Atlantic here, and it should maintain its intensity after weakening once it makes the recurve, finds a weakness in the subtropical ridge, and it could become now an impact to Bermuda. So Bermuda, you might want to watch in for this, because I now see this system impacting Bermuda. It should not be a hurricane, but it will be a problem for Bermuda. Tropical storm force winds, lots of high surf and surge and whatnot, so lots of heavy rain, so get ready for that. And then we're taking a look at the rest of the tropics here. There's that Invest 98L system that's just come off the coast of Africa. It's just south of the Cape Verde Islands. It's just southeast of Tropical Storm Rose out here, and then you have Peter north of the Leeward and Windward Islands. Rose is going to recurve out here in the Atlantic. It could eventually, potentially, become some sort of impact to the Azores up here. But it's Invest 98L. If this system remains weak enough, it will bend more towards the west and not be like the other systems and find a weakness in the subtropical ridge. However, there are a lot of models that are indicating that this storm could find some way to intensify rapidly to potentially a hurricane within about 5 days. So if that were to happen, then this system definitely would be recurving. But if this system encounters any sort of shear, cold water upwelling, anything that would be negative for development, this could actually keep it further to the south. And we'll watch for that in coming days. That's why my cone of uncertainty is high. I do believe this will be our next named storm, however. So we'll watch it here at Hurricane Eastern, and we'll keep you up to date here. And here's the tropical Atlantic. We have Tropical Storm Peter out here. You see Peter, good amount of convection here, especially on the northeast and east side of the system. It is battling a little bit of wind shear here. You can see this upper level disturbance here. So it's not really wrapping around completely, but Peter will continue to hold his own. Tropical Storm Rose out here, becoming a little bit stronger. A lot of convection with that. That is going to be recurving out here. But if here it is, Invest 98L. This is the system, a big cluster of showers and thunderstorms that have been very persistent ever since it's come off the coast of Africa. This is the system that has the greatest potential of affecting any part of land, especially if the system were to remain weak enough. Right now it is a bit on the disorganized side, so that works in its favor of potentially remaining a little bit further to the south. So this will become our next named storm here, so I'll keep you up to date on this one. Taking a look at the tropical Atlantic here, we'll start with the GFS. We can't get into the mesoscales because it's too far out. GFS, here we go. We fast forward here into midweek. There you got Invest 98L. Peter right here, kind of still holding its own, and Tropical Storm Rose as well. There's that system I mentioned. Well, actually, I didn't mention on the tropical map. It will potentially become a named storm as well. We'll see if it becomes a named storm before Invest 98L. It's kind of a battleground here, so we'll not break it down too much into that deal. But we fast forward into Friday here, and Invest 98L, here it is. You got Rose here, Peter, kind of indicating almost like an open wave affecting in the Bermuda vicinity, just south of the Bermuda vicinity here. And then there's that system sandwiched between two high pressure systems. Now, what does the GFS do here? It really starts to intensify it here into the central Atlantic, and that's when it could eventually start to make the recurve. So the GFS is a bit stronger and further to the north and to the west here by the weekend. And as you can see, really intensifying it. And look at that. Rose and Peter cannot move to the northeast. It's being blocked literally by a high pressure system in the open Atlantic here. So there you have it. And what's the Canadian showing? A similar scenario here. We progress this towards Friday here. We still have Invest 98L. There's Peter, and there's Rose, and there's that unnamed storm as of yet. 2 high pressure systems. And then we skip it towards the middle part of the weekend. The Canadian is a bit weaker, keeping it a little bit further to the south, but does it re-strengthen it? Not as bad. So the Canadian has the best chance of this remaining a little bit further to the south. We'll have to see later trends here to see if this continues. So I'll keep you up to date on this. All right, and we're taking a look at the model data we have for the GFS. We can't get into the mesoscale models just yet. It's not close enough. But we put this into motion towards Wednesday. There's that low pressure system moving across central Ohio. There's that tropical connection I was referring to. It almost looks like it's coming down here from all the way from Tropical Storm Peter and training up into North Carolina and the eastern Appalachians here. And then we put this into motion, low pressure moving up here late Wednesday, early Thursday, just west of Buffalo, New York. Look at all this moisture getting entrained. And what happens early Thursday morning here? Look at this. We get that tropical moisture entraining into this system, and low pressure really strengthening here. Lots of heavy rain across eastern Michigan, northwestern Ohio. But here is the lion's share of the rain, according to the GFS, right up through the Susquehanna River Valley, Harrisburg, Wilkes-Barre, and up to Scranton and Binghamton there. And look at that. We put this into motion. It moves very little midday on Thursday. So the heavy rain threat is very real, according to the GFS. How much rain are we looking at here? Let's put this into motion. We put this into early Thursday. We still have a lot of heavy rain back in here. Anywhere from 2 to 4 inches is definitely likely across eastern Michigan, northwestern Ohio, eastern Indiana. And then look at this across North Carolina, all the way up into the Susquehanna Valley of Pennsylvania, New York. This is where we'll be looking anywhere from like 1 to 2 inches with locally higher amounts, 3 inches in pockets possible. So flash flooding is a potential here. And then we get into the Canadian model. Here we go. We're going to start off here looking at Wednesday. Low pressure moving across Ohio. There's that tropical moisture feed off the Atlantic. This kind of retrogrades the low a little bit back further towards the west. The axis of the heaviest precipitation, therefore, is over central Pennsylvania. Doesn't quite make it into the Susquehanna Valley. Is a bit slower in solution and doesn't bring the heaviest rain in until Thursday evening across Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, Harrisburg, and Binghamton. So this is definitely a different solution, one we should pay attention to as well. If we put this into motion, once again, the heaviest rain is across southeastern Michigan, northwestern Ohio, Indiana, and then look at this across Pennsylvania, central Pennsylvania, down into Virginia and South Carolina. This is where we could see 2 to 3 inches, pockets of 4 inches, and then Binghamton doesn't quite even get into the inch category here. So this is definitely a bit different. We'll have to watch these solutions as they play out as it gets closer. And Robert Stone from the Philadelphia area. Take a look at this past Friday, September 17th, under overcast skies in the city of Philadelphia. Look at that beautiful architecture under overcast skies. He was able to take his truck here across the city. Can't be too easy taking a truck through these city streets, but nevertheless, he made his way here across Philadelphia, traversing under overcast skies. Thankfully, there was no rainfall in the area. Look at that, pedestrians getting out and about here. So not looking too bad. Very nice captures here in your travels, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Thanks, Robert. And the upper air pattern here across North America. It's going to be the 2 big ridges on both coasts and a big trough in the mid section of the continent. That's going to push a big storm further east here, and it's going to be able to tap into some tropical moisture off the Carolinas and into the southeast, and then train it up into the Ohio River Valley and eventually into the northeast. So we're going to watch for that here. And Tuesday across the northeast. This is your last nice day before the next big system moves in, so get out there and enjoy it. It is also your last full day of summer, so really it's pretty symbolic, so get out there and enjoy it. It will be stellar from places like Atlantic City, New York City, Boston, Binghamton, Scranton, Harrisburg, and D.C. Very, very nice. We could see a stray shower or thunder shower later in the day, places like Pittsburgh, Erie, and Toronto, but for the most part, we'll stay dry most of the day with nice crystal clear blue skies. We could see some cirrus clouds coming in later in the day. And taking a look at your Tuesday here across the southeast, tropical moisture is the name of the game here. We have that stalled out stationary front here off the coast of the Carolinas, helping feed in tropical moisture, a direct connection, so to speak, from Tropical Storm Peter out here in the Atlantic. And we'll have lots of that funneling up into parts of the just west of the Appalachians as well. So into that frontal boundary here across the Mississippi River Valley and upper Ohio Valley. All that will be feeding northward, and look at that pretty much all along the Gulf Coast as well. Temperatures being held down in North Georgia and the Carolinas in the upper 70s, low 80s, but along the Gulf Coast continuing to be hazy, hot, and humid, muggy, upper 80s to low 90s. And Wednesday across the Northeast, you see that slow-moving frontal boundary moving into the ridge to the east here. You got two areas of low pressure forming along it, one just south of Pittsburgh, the other right around between Toronto and Buffalo, New York. And when these get going here, we will see an increase of moisture. It will have a hard time getting, especially along and east of Interstate 81 in New York and Pennsylvania during the day on Wednesday. But towards evening, it will start to progress to the east. Anywhere in the darker shading, medium to darker shading green, the possibility exists for at least 1 to 2 inches plus of rainfall here across the area, especially western New York, western Pennsylvania throughout the day. And that will progress slowly east throughout the day, holding temperatures down into the upper 60s and low 70s. And for your Wednesday across the southeast, this is something you haven't seen in a very long time. Not the heavy rain over the Carolinas, which, you've pretty much had a good part of the summer here, but it is this cold front that will be slicing all the way down into the Gulf of Mexico. Look at that. New Orleans and Houston, a lot lower humidity, and look at those temperatures down into the low 80s. Birmingham, Alabama, 74. Wow. Nashville, 71, and Atlanta, 75. Some early morning showers and thunderstorms, but that'll be moving to the east. The trouble spot will be continuing to be that tropical moisture with that stationary front off of direct connection here to Tropical Storm Peter, continuing to feed all up along the front into parts of the Ohio Valley and eventually the Northeast as well. But there you have it. That's the weather for the Southeast. Kind of a change here. And your Thursday across the Northeast is probably one of your worst days here, especially in upstate New York, Northeast Pennsylvania, parts of New Jersey, western New England. Temperatures really being held down as well, mid to upper 60s, a very popular number. Places like Binghamton, Syracuse, Buffalo, Erie, Pittsburgh, State College, Toronto, these areas. Closer you get to the coastline, we'll hold on to some low to mid 70s here. But there it is, the stalled out frontal boundary across central Pennsylvania, upstate New York into the St. Lawrence Valley, funneling tropical moisture. Tropical connection off the coast of the Carolinas, the east coast, from as far east as Tropical Storm Peter at that point, continuing to feed moisture into this system. So a pretty good direct tropical connection here will spell pretty much anywhere from an inch to probably an inch and a half of rain out of this at this point. So looking for some of the heavier rainfall totals, especially like Scranton, Binghamton, Syracuse, up to the St. Lawrence Valley. Widespread inch to inch and a half likely. And Thursday across the southeast, wow, the front really pushing all the way to the eastern coastline here, just not clearing South Florida and parts of eastern North Carolina here. For the most part, look at that. We're descending down into the 70s, Atlanta 72, Birmingham 74, 78, New Orleans 79, and Panama City. So wow, get out there and enjoy it. This is going to seem probably a little chilly to some of you as well, but this humidity will be really on the decline as that front really slicing to the south and to the east. And Friday across the Northeast, look at this. There is some clearing behind this frontal boundary. It will be weakening as it heads to the Northeast. So only scattered showers, places like Boston, Concord, Burlington, Portland, Bangor, Maine. And look at that clearing for Albany on westward. Look at that, sunny skies. Upper 60s for the most part across upstate New York into Northeast Pennsylvania. And then the remainder of the Northeast not looking bad as well down to D.C. And for your Friday across the Southeast, this is looking really, really good. The only chance of a shower or thunderstorm is pretty much from mid to southern part of Florida here, from Tampa on southward to Miami. Chance of a shower or thunderstorm as the tail end of the front here. Look at that. Panama City, partly sunny, 82, 79 in New Orleans, 85 in Houston, 75 in Atlanta, Nashville. Look at this. This is really a nice day across the southeast. Lower humidity continues to pour in from the northwest. And here's the extended outlook for my hometown viewers. Binghamton to Scranton's upper Susquehanna region of upstate New York and northeast Pennsylvania. This takes us Tuesday through Saturday this week. Tuesday we start out nice, late, feeling like a really nice late summer, early fall type of day. 73 degrees, but look at that. By Wednesday, we'll be getting that front moving in from the west, area of low pressure, possibly some tropical moisture by later in the day, only making it up to 72. But look at that. Wednesday night into Thursday, this is where we could see an inch to potentially maybe up to an inch and a half of rain with all that moisture that gets entrained into the low pressure that moves across the eastern Great Lakes. And we'll have some moisture, tropical moisture, heading up the Appalachians from the Carolinas in the southeast. And this could entrain some heavier rainfall amounts here, only getting up towards 66 as the rain will hold the temperatures down. But look at that. By Friday and Saturday, we're looking more fall-like, but very sunny. Look at that. As always, I want to thank you for joining me for this edition of Weather Eastern and Hurricane Eastern. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell button if you haven't done so already. That way you know when I come out with one of these videos. Question or comment in the comment section down below if you wish. And as always, don't forget to give my Facebook page some love. It's Media Mark or Weather Northeastern and Hurricane Northeastern. And also on Twitter, I have changed it to Weather Eastern. So follow me on Twitter at Weather Eastern. Thanks once again for joining me.